Welcome back to Glamour with me, Josh Smith, and today we are joined by a legend. Perrie Edwards, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
You good?
Very good.
I mean, you're stepping out on your own for the first time with the Superga campaign. How's that feel?
Yeah, it's been so good today. I've had the best day ever.
Yeah.
Really fun.
How's it feel stepping away from your security blanket of the girls, would you say? Yeah.
At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, but yeah, it's been really good.
Recently, you've opened up about your anxiety, and your post ballot was so powerful.
Thank
it was
you.
really moving, and it's really incredible to see someone like you using your position for the greater good and to also speak to your fans, which is really incredible. Yeah. How cathartic was that experience for you?
When it first started happening to me, it felt so like it had never happened to anyone before. I can't explain it. It was almost because I didn't know what was happening. We were preparing for the Glory Days tour.
Yeah.
And I always have mini breakdowns during tour because learning that much choreography and learning everything.
I mean, it's a lot.
It's intense. It's so intense. It's so mentally and physically draining. Although it's fun, it's hard work. I don't know if it's come with being in the industry and knowing that people are constantly looking at me and constantly want a piece of me, or there might be a pap somewhere or something like that. I don't know what triggered it, but it's just happened. When I was going through the physical attacks and the panic attacks, because I think I've always had anxiety. I just don't think it's ever been triggered in a way that it's become like a physical attack. So when it first started happening to me, it was just so scary because I didn't know what was going on. I was ringing doctors, I was ringing everybody I'm dying. I've just had a heart attack and survived it. I thought I was genuinely, there was something wrong with me. And then the reason I never wanted to speak about it before is because every time someone said, oh, I've got a bit of anxiety or I have a bit of this, it would trigger it and then it would happen. It was almost like speaking about it made it kind of come out. It was like this devil that I was terrified of. But it's just your mind kind of, I guess, trying to prepare yourself for something bad that's going to happen, but it's just odd, I don't know. So what helped me the most, it sounds awful, not saying that I wanted other people to be experiencing it, but I looked into it and I noticed that Ellie Goulding came out and said that she had bad anxiety and she couldn't get the car to the studio. And I read that Fern Cotton was on the motorway in her car and she had a physical attack and it was terrifying, and it started to kind of make me feel a bit more normal. I'm a completely different person to what I was a year and a half ago. So when I put that on social media, I just thought I'm just going to be honest about it. So I'm just really glad I did it because I do think social media has kind of taken over everyone's lives right now. Especially the youngins.
Because the crazy thing is we do live in very anxious times because of social media.
Exactly.
But the amazing thing is you've used social media as a greater force for greater good, and you're talking about it, it's helping other people. But do you have a love-hate relationship with social media?
Oh, of course. On one hand, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
We can go online every day, talk to our fans, be really close, have this connection with them. But then on the other hand, you go on Instagram and you see people living these ideal lifestyles and people looking perfect 24/7. And you look at it and you think, well, why don't I look like that?
Yeah.
And why don't I have a private jet every day? And why don't I have a Bentley parked outside? And it starts to really mess with your head and you start to feel like you're not good enough and it makes you feel a bit shit. And it's trying to differentiate what's real and what's not. And social media, a lot of the time, it isn't real.
And it's great, like we were saying, that you are using your platform to talk about the anxiety and things like that, because then you can talk about a journey and then people can almost go on it with you as well.
Yeah.
And then that shows it's a positive thing and not a negative thing as well.
Yeah.
Because when you think about that journey, about the journey you've gone on with anxiety, from the start till now, how has your self-confidence grown in order to take steps to overcome it?
Weirdly, when I first started experiencing the panic attacks, I developed a fear of being on my own. So still now, it's a lot better than it was, but when it first started happening, I kept saying if I have a panic attack and I'm on my own, what do I do? I've got nobody to kind of reason with me and I can't rationalize it in my head and I can't make sense of it at the time. So if I haven't got anybody with me, what do I do? So it got to the point where my mum was kind of coming to the studio with me. She was driving to work with me because I just couldn't get in a car on my own. I'd be in a car for 2 seconds and I'd be like, turn it around, I have to go home. It would freak me out. I just wouldn't be able to leave the house without feeling normal. And getting the train, even now, my boyfriend lives in Manchester because obviously he plays for Liverpool. So when he moved, it was just it was crap. And then once this started happening, I thought, oh God, this is horrendous. I still can't get the train on my own. Like, it freaks me out. I feel really claustrophobic. I just feel uneasy. But like, obviously it was horrendous at one point, and I couldn't even, if my mum was like, I'm going to the shop for a bottle of milk, I'd sweat. Like, I'd sweat and I'd panic, and I'd be like, please don't leave me on my own, because the second you leave that door, I'm gonna have a panic attack and I'm on my own. Like, what do I do? And then it got to the point where I was like, right, Mum, you go to the shop, right, and take your phone, and then as soon as you've been gone and I start to feel a bit funny, like, I'll ring you. And I did the same with Alex's mum, Wendy. She's been incredible. Like, it was Christmas time and she was like, I'm gonna go walk the dog and I'll be gone for like 2 minutes, and then I'll take my phone, and if you need me, ring, and I can run back. And I was like, right, okay. And I'd try and stay as long as I could without ringing her, but I'd be like shaking. It was so weird. And she would like say, find something to keep your mind occupied, and like do like paint. So my mum got me these little dolls and I started painting them. I was literally like shaking like this, thinking, don't ring her, you're an adult, come on, you can do it. And it's like battling with your own, like, yourself. It's just weird. But the more I did it, the better it got. My best friend Ellie / cousin, she moved in with me, and it's obviously helped. And now she can go out with her friends and I'm cool. Like, I'm all right on my own. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but it's almost like I needed to be babysat for a long time. And I still struggle now. Like, I wouldn't be able to just go somewhere on my own, like get on the train and go somewhere on my own. I just can't do that anymore. From when I look back now to this kind of weird wobble that I had, I never thought I'd be where I am now, because I never thought there was a way out. And then I thought, you can't live your life like that. How am I going to have a career? How am I going to get on stage and perform? How am I going to meet the fans? How am I going to do any of the stuff that I love doing if I don't leave the house? So it was like doing a step by step, like learning to bloody walk again. It was just weird. Once I got out the house a bit more, my mum didn't have to come to work with me anymore, and then I was fine. Then I started travelling on my own. I can get in a car and go to Manchester now, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm still a bit uneasy about the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just finding coping mechanisms. I'm constantly getting better. I'm constantly not letting it defeat me, and it's just one step at a time, I think.
I think we all need to remember we're on a journey, right?
Yes, we
and
are.
I think the thing you said in the post where you said, I've been in a relationship with my mind for 25 years, is such a powerful statement, because we need to realise we're actually in a relationship with ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
But I don't think there's enough of that. Like, we don't realise that. And we're not like, oh, let's work on my relationship with myself. What are the coping mechanisms for you?
My dog.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Hachi is literally my sanity. Like,
And so cute as well.
I know. When everybody's out, if I've got Hachi, I'm cool. Like, I'm fine. I've got my little mate. I'm good. He keeps me sane. Talking to a stranger, like, that helps massively. Speaking to someone who has no idea what's going on in your life, you just let it all out, and it's the best feeling in the world. Like, therapy for me helped hugely.
And it's amazing you can sit here and not be ashamed about it as well.
No,
because I think a lot of people feel that if they go see a
was.
therapist, they're like, oh
I
my God,
was
the
so
shame.
embarrassed. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I don't know, because I thought if I tell everybody I've been to therapy, they're going to think I'm nuts. At one point, I thought my mum was going to have to send me somewhere, because I was having these dark thoughts. I was thinking differently than the way I would. I'm a very positive, outgoing, bubbly, sunshine person.
Yeah.
So when this happened, it was like from that to that, and I was thinking dark thoughts that was freaking me out. And then the more I thought about it, it would freak me out even more. I just think even if you're feeling a bit down at work, or you're feeling a bit down about things that are going on in your family, or just anything, it's nice to speak to people.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to talk. If you've got a friend or a teacher or just anyone who you know will listen for 5 minutes, it's just the best thing ever to let it out. And we're human. We're gonna go through things. We're going to go through hard times and hard periods of our life, and it's not going to be an easy ride all the time. And I think that's what we forget. Again, social media, it seems that way. People think that people are living these idyllic lives, and it's not. And there's bumps in the road, and there's going to be. And I think that's life.
How did you learn to like treasure your private life in the very public world and work on yourself away from this public world?
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That is really hard. I think sometimes when you're in this industry, you kind of have to be the actress sometimes. It does suck that you can't show your emotion 24/7, because you have to be on the camera, you have to be ready to do an interview.
Yeah.
Like, you can be heartbroken and just want to get in bed and throw the quilt over your head and never come out for a week and eat ice cream and be miserable, but instead you have a performance to prepare for and interviews to do. And sometimes it's better, because I think if I didn't have work at the time that all of like the anxiety was going on, I wouldn't have went. Like if I didn't have 3 other girls to think about and be strong for, and all the fans that wanted to see the show be the best it could possibly be, I don't think I would have came back to work.
Well, I think you're just so incredible that you're here right now saying this.
Thanks.
Because it's honestly like, I can't imagine having to do that. Like we all have moments when we're like, right, we have to cope because of other people.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it for like millions of fans, that can be so daunting, and you've actually got through it, and I just think you're amazing. Oh,
Why did I know you were going to make me cry?
I was not.
You made Leanne cry.
No. Oh my God, I'm gonna get a reputation.
You actually are.
This is why I've got so much respect for you girls, because you've done so much incredible stuff to help people, and you haven't just sat there, and you could very easily have sat here today and like brushed over all the things that you've gone through. But anyone who watches this is really going to help them. Like, I go through anxious moments, we all go through anxious moments, and like hearing someone like you who's a role model to so many different people, of different walks of life and everything, it will just help people so much.
I hope so.
Yeah, and it will. And also,
Good.
even just like, for instance, when you went through and you just came out about your freckles and you were like, yeah, I just want to be really proud about that. That's another amazing thing you've done as well.
Thanks.
And I think you should take the time to pat yourself on the back, because you've honestly helped so many people, and you can see that in your fan base.
Yeah, I hope so. That's why I did it. So even though a year and a half ago I never thought I'd be in this position, I'm just buzzing that I kind of overcome it.
Yeah.